Today, I'm gonna be reviewing and revisiting the number one Roblox games from 2024 to 2006. In 2024, Blox Fruits is the number one game, and it was made in January 2019. It quickly gained popularity due to its unique premise inspired by the anime and manga series One Piece. In the game, players can explore vast islands, defeat enemies, and obtain powerful abilities through devil fruits. We all know and love this game. I'm only gonna give it a 9 out of 10. In 2023, Adopt Me was the number one game on Roblox. Adopt Me was originally launched in 2017. In Adopt Me, players can adopt a variety of pets with almost 38 billion visits as of today. The game itself is mostly appealable to the younger audience. So if I was 10 years old and I was to rate this game, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. But since I'm not 10, I'm only gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Solely for the reason it's not really appealable to the audience my age. In 2022, Doors was the number one game. Doors is a horror-themed game which quickly gained significant attention due to its unique blend of suspense, atmosphere, and cooperative gameplay. The game became especially popular for its procedurally generated levels, where players must work together to survive a series of doors, each leading to increasingly terrifying and challenging environments. Personally, out of the all games I've mentioned so far, this is my favorite. If I were to point out a thing that I don't like about it, would be the fact that after playing it for 5-6 times, it kinda gets boring, especially if you're playing all on your own. And that's why I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. In 2021, Tower of Hell was the number one game. Tower of Hell is an obstacle course game, aka NOB. It was initially launched in 2018 and gained rapid popularity due to its challenging gameplay and competitive nature. The game's success can be attributed to its tough yet fairly difficult gameplay that tests players' platforming skills. Personally, I've never been dying to OB games, especially TOH, but I'll try to not be too biased in my ratings. The OB levels itself are not that unique, and it definitely gets repetitive and boring, which I'm sure all of the TOH players can agree on. So yeah, because of all those factors combined, it's not a great game, in my opinion of course. And I'm just gonna give it a 5 out of 10. In 2020, Brookhaven was the number one game. Brookhaven was released in July 2020, and the game is a sandbox-style RP game that allows players to engage in various activities like role-playing, customizing homes, driving cars, and interacting with other users. Set in an open-world environment, Brookhaven is known for its high level of freedom, allowing players to create and live out their future lives however they want. In fact, it's so open-world that I didn't even know where to start from. This is the only game so far that I have never played before, so I'm just gonna check out how the gameplay feels. I guess we can ride horses. Okay, that's very cool. I'm gonna give it an extra point just for that. Oh, there are lots of things to do here. Look at all these shops. It was pretty fun, but I don't think it's more fun than Doors. So I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10. It's pretty fun though. We're all done with the 2020s. It's time to travel back to 2010s. In 2019, we had a game that copied the game that copied the game. I'm talking about Mad City. Now, this is one of those games that I actually played back then. Mad City was released in December 2017. It lets players choose from various roles: prisoners playing escapes, criminals conducting heists, police officers maintaining order, or superheroes with special abilities to thwart crime. Players can engage in an open world environment, and this environment includes a bunch of spots like the city, desert, and a few other locations as well. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. In 2018, we have Blox Fruits, a game that I actually used to play a lot in 2018. Released in 2014 is a life simulation game inspired by The Sims. In Bloxburg, players simulate everyday life by building homes, taking on jobs, and interacting with others. I feel like Bloxburg over the years hasn't changed at all. I mean, the gameplay is solid for what it is. It does have a unique aspect to it, which is the leveling system. Say, I read this book for a minute or so. I unlock the intelligence skill, which is such a meme-worthy template. It's not on the mindless roleplay game level, but it's not too far away from being one. I think players just lack the freedom of building a house that exactly matches your likings. I'm not too sure if Brookhaven lets you do that as well. If any one of y'all are experts at Brookhaven, let me know if the game lets you build custom houses as well. I'll have to give Blox Fruits a 7 out of 10. In 2017, Jailbreak was a #1 game. Released on April 21, 2017, the game always had a powerful fanbase, even reaching #1 in 2018 and 2019 in certain months. If I remember correctly, this was one of the first games I actually played on Roblox in 2017. I started playing Roblox in 2017. I know, I'm an unk. For those who don't know what Jailbreak is, it's a game inspired by Grand Theft Auto. The game itself didn't really have 8 out of 10, but when it did, it was game changing. I will give this game a solid 7 out of 10. Back in 2016, Meep City took the top spot. This social role-playing game let players interact with each other. It was a super chill game, kind of like Club Penguin, but with more customization. I feel like Meep City was kind of ahead of its time. If Meep City didn't exist, then Adopting wouldn't exist either. And frankly, that's the only thing it has going for it. So I'm gonna give it a -1 point of what I gave Adopt Me, which would be 5 out of 10. In 2015, Phantom Forces ruled the rules. This is a first-person shooter that introduced some pretty realistic graphics and mechanics for Roblox at the time. It was a big step forward for FPS games on the platform. Now, this is one of those games that I actually did play a lot back then. Phantom Forces has actually aged really well, as it still gets a decent amount of daily active players. I think with some tweaks in physics and map rebrands, this game would be a 10 out of 10. But because it's not at that stage yet, I'm only gonna give it a 9.8 out of 10. Slightly above doors. In 2014, Murder Mystery 2 was the #1 game. This game is a classical social deduction game where you play as either the murderer, the sheriff, or the innocent. You have to figure out who's the killer before it's too late. It's simple, it's fun, and surprisingly, it remains super popular today. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. In 2013, Apocalypse Rising was a top game. This was a zombie survival game that was heavily inspired by DayZ. You had to fight off zombies, explore the map, and survive in an open world environment. We are just lost in a forest with a single house. Oh, this is like our backpack. I already like this game. We have a revolver and a knife. I played Apocalypse Rising for almost 20 minutes without even realizing it, and it's definitely a gem. This is honestly my favorite game so far, and I really didn't expect that from a Roblox game that was made 11 years ago. I'm giving this game a 10 out of 10. In 2012, Natural Disaster Survival took the top spot. It's one of those simple but addictive games where you have to survive natural disasters like earthquakes, tornadoes, and floods, especially when you're playing with your friends. It's a classic, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. In 2011, Sword Fights on the Heights 4 was the top game. This was a fast-paced sword fighting game with tons of different weapons. It was one of the earliest Roblox games to really have that competitive edge. Honestly, I loved it back then, and it's still fun to play now. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 for its timeless appeal. In 2010, Work at a Pizza Place was the #1 game. This was one of the first big role-playing games on Roblox where you and your friends work together to run a pizza restaurant. It's still popular today for unknown reasons. Personally, I was never a big fan of it, so I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. We have wrapped the 2010s, it's time for the 2000s. In 2009, Base Wars was the top game. It was a competitive, team-based game where you fought using both vehicles and infantry. It was one of the earliest examples of a strategic, combat-focused game on Roblox. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 for being one of the early classics. In 2008, Crossroads was the leader. Created by John Shedletsky, this game is often considered the OG Roblox classic. It's a free-for-all battleground game where you battle with rocket launchers, paintballs, dodgeballs, swords, and many other weapons. This game is iconic for a reason, and that's why you see this map in modern games such as Combat Warriors. For its timeless appeal, I'm gonna give this game a 9 out of 10. In 2007, we have Chaos Canyon. It's basically the more OG brother of Crossroads, but it's lesser known. I'm just gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Now, we've arrived at the first ever Roblox game, Rocket Arena. Imagine this. You load into a brightly colored arena with nothing but a rocket launcher and one goal, absolute destruction. No frills, no gimmicks, just pure, unfiltered chaos. Rockets flew everywhere, players got launched into oblivion, and each match was more explosive than the last. Rocket Arena wasn't about strategy or complexity, it was about fun, and that's why it was the game everyone was playing. Sure, by today's standards, it's simple, But back then, this was Roblox perfection. It's the kind of game that made you laugh, rage, and queue up for just one more round. I have to give Rocket Arena a 10 out of 10. It might have been simple, but it defined an era. And there you have it, 18 years of Roblox history. So what about you? Did I miss your favorite? Or is there a game here that holds a special place in your heart? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, smash that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.